Wait. Mira.
I am genuinely confused.
Why are you so scared? You had the balls to approach me when I wasn't looking.
Hey, Gary, can you cut the main lights on?
How you guys doing? Welcome back to Sanitation Hunter.
Look at that.
And welcome back to the Codex Files. Foo, thanks for tapping in, and we back on the mic with more creepy videos. So do me the biggest favor and hit and smash the like button for me, smash the subscribe button, and join the family if you like videos like this.
Wait. Mira.
¿Es un perro?
Ese no es un perro.
Ya vámonos. Espérate, déjame grabar. Britney Spears has said it. A boyfriend of the folk singer Judy Sill said that while she was reading Rosicrucian transcripts, she briefly shapeshifted into a reptile. And William S. Burroughs and Brian Geisen, people would say they would, become invisible or shapeshift. And a friend of mine...
Didn't you also write about somebody disappearing on stage?
Yes, that was Diamanda Gallis,
Yeah.
if that's how you pronounce her name.
I saw Diamanda once live.
That sounds pretty intense. She's maybe the most intense performer. But a friend of mine who's Iranian, he's fundamentally Iranian Gnostic, and he was like, and I asked him, "Were you on drugs?" He goes, "No." He goes, "I was very close to the stage, and I saw her disappear on stage." And I said, "Well, what's?" I said, "What? Like, let's go back to that. You saw her disappear on stage. Can we circle back to that?" And I said, "What did that look like?" And he said, "She just became more and more pixelated, and you can kind of see through her a little bit." So, for what it's worth, that is a strange but real secret history of people claiming to have seen that.
When you were deployed, did you see anything? Because there's a lot of stories of like people seeing, like, especially in the remote desert.
My team sergeant, when I was on 7-5, he was a real strong Christian. They were having lots of firefights in this town. It was just chaos. But every night he'd go up on the roof and pray. This one night he went up on the roof and then this dust devil just starts. And he said it was literally like a tornado of sand just around him. And he starts hearing like it was a pig getting slaughtered, just screaming out in the village. And he just feels this dark presence. So he just keeps praying, professing the name of Jesus. And he said the sand just stopped, the screaming stopped, and he said after that, like, the firefight stopped. It was a completely different environment going out in the town.
Holy cow.
There's lots of stories of people like having experiences and seeing things and just divine protection.
おじさんちゃん見てきて。怖いんだけど怖い。
誰もいないよ。
え？怖い。
We know we can't drink ocean water, right, because of the salt. And this is what's fascinating. When I learned about this and how much it's been studied, it's pretty mind-blowing. But when they evaporate the sodium out of this, it's the exact same mineral composition as human plasma and lymphatic system fluid. And they actually used ocean water. This is documented. You could look it up. They actually used ocean water in blood transfusions during World War II when they ran out of blood. and it worked. And they'd done experiments with this in dogs and all kinds of other animals where they transfused ocean water, and it basically worked as a substitute for blood.
These are turkey burgers. Somebody tell me why. They're foaming. Like they're made with soap. Look at this. Look at that, it's like soap. So at this point, I had to bring them in the house from the grill just so I can really get a good look at what is going on. Look at this. It's foaming. I have never seen turkey burgers like that. Needless to say, they were not eaten. They were not eaten. They were put directly in the trash where they belong.
Oh, fuck.
What was that? Somebody? Get away from that window, girl.
Every American should watch this.
That was what the ban of TikTok was ultimately about. It was not a fear of China, because that had been around forever. The idea that we have to ban TikTok because the Chinese have too much power, and that went nowhere. The only time the TikTok ban picked up enough steam and got votes in both parties in the support of the Biden White House was when the ADL came out and said, the reason young people are being turned against Israel in the war in Gaza is because there's too many of these videos circulating on TikTok. And that's when the government intervened and said, we can't allow TikTok to become this uncontrolled realm of free speech because it contaminates our youth with the things we don't want them to know. And that's why they took it out of the hands of ByteDance and basically put it in the hands of Mark Andreessen and Larry Ellison and people like that.
How bitterly ironic that it was a Chinese-owned company that was bringing too much free speech into the United States.
Yeah, well, I mean, that is one of the issues is for no one thinks China is a beacon of free speech, especially when it comes to their own people, that's for sure. But in a way, they were the only outlet that the U.S. government couldn't fully control. So as you say, ironically, it was one of the only vestiges of a large platform that the American government couldn't censor, and that is why it had to be taken out of their hands, not because Americans wanted to make sure we were free of Chinese repression.
Okay, this is a fake trap, right? I'm just walking along. I thought it was like a real arrow. That's a spider web and two tree sticks that have just fallen. And it's pointing that way. Through those, should I go?
Buddy, he's still dirty. Hey, why are you cuddling with the prop? You're so weird. We're right here. I don't like your tone.
And I have so many questions.
They were newlyweds. Her husband's name was George. He comes home from work and they got in an argument about something. And he decides to leave and go blow off steam. And this is in the Dayton, Ohio area. And he takes a city bus downtown. He leaves the family car at home. And when he gets off the bus, the last person that ever saw him was the bus driver, at least officially. Like I think obviously somebody saw him after that, but the last known person is a bus driver. And he was going into the direction of a nightclub called the Asylum. So the assumption, I would say, is that he went to the Asylum because that's where he was seen walking towards. But he was never seen again. And there's some really mysterious things about this nightclub, the Asylum, and Dayton, Ohio's underground network of vampires. It's what? it's not the first, it's the second most vampires in the country. Is that correct?
Yeah, there was a study done by like the New Orleans Vampire Association or whatever. And so New Orleans is first and Dayton, Ohio was second.
But supposedly he goes in there, and the next day there's an investigation into where he is because he didn't come home that night. I don't think it was Helen. I think it was George's mom that called the police. And so they start looking around, and this retired detective goes in the next day just to, I guess, ask questions, just to see, has anybody seen this guy? He has a picture of him. And so he goes to a bartender, and he shows the bartender, have you seen this guy? His name's George Gall. And the bartender said, that is a face I'll never forget. And so we have somebody inside the bar saying that they have seen him there. So the bus driver is saying that he saw him going to the Asylum nightclub. It seems like he went in. So at the end of the night, the floor is empty. Bartender's probably cleaning up, doing his rounds. And he sees a deal go down in this empty floor. And this bartender, he said that there was a deal that happened. Somebody came in, an occult collector, and bought a human head that was wrapped in a bag. And the human head that he saw wrapped in the bag was what was in the picture, George Gall.
Mm.
And my question is, if that's true, why did the detective, a day after this incident, go in there, ask questions, and get that information, and then nothing ever comes of it, and it becomes a cold case?
What the? Say, Prince. That looked crazy. Is that a plane? What is that? No, seriously, what is that? Is that a shooting star? No. I'm gonna literally be, no way. No freaking way. No, literally there's like glitter around it. I'm not even kidding you. There's like glitter around it. Is it multiple? Are we being attacked? What is that? I'm kind of freaking out. I'm kind of freaking out. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh god. Oh Lord God. Oh Lord God.
The insectoid creature is a locust-like alien or deity that is first seen around 2600 BC. Revelation 9 also explains these creatures coming back near the end out of the abyss.
I had a heart attack. When I got to the emergency room, I was very close to death at that point. Less than 20 seconds after being on the gurney, I was gone. What it felt like was I went to sleep. But as soon as I closed my eyes, nothing stopped. I kept experiencing. I started coming out of my body, and I could see from the above now.
Had this happened to you before?
Not like that.
What do you remember of leaving your body?
It was almost instant, and it was seamless. I had no interest in my body. I was looking at everything, watching them defibrillate. I heard a phrase said, his body, his mind, and his ego is dead. I said, well, what am I now? Because I'm still experiencing. I remember having a really brief thought, dang, you blew it. Realizing that I had this opportunity, that was a life that I could have lived, but I spent the bulk of it just mad at the entire planet and not wanting to be there. I felt like I wasted that life.
Was there a tunnel?
There was no tunnel. I just shot up through space. I was in a void. It's extremely black, dense area, but I knew it was not on this planet. I knew I was in space. I was moving through this blackness. It felt like velvet, and it was communicating with me the entire time, like whispers, voices, images in my periphery. But when I turned my attention directly to the images that were in my periphery, they disappeared like smoke. I said, everything is here, but nothing is here. I knew that this was a source of physical reality. It even is connected to the other dimensions.
What you're describing is the best explanation that rabbis and priests and ministers tried to give to explain what nothingness is before God created something.
It was beautiful. It felt like home. I didn't want to leave the void. Every idea that entered my mind, the void responded. It would be twirls and colors, and if I had a question, I would instantly understand it.
You were interacting with it.
Yes.
Do you think your attention reanimated you?
The attention was what guided the experience. Wherever I put my attention, that's where my experience happened. I understood everything. I don't know how much space I was covering, but no matter how far away it would be like 3 little shakes, and I would be there.
That's the description of how you can move through time and space without the limits of space-time.
You could say his consciousness was there.
I didn't want to go to the light. The light for me was extremely far away, but I knew it was the light because I couldn't stop looking at it, and it pulled me towards it. If I didn't travel, I could look out into space and see several of these voids in different places. So I understood that it wasn't just one void, but this void somehow seemed to be very connected to this experience. When I came out of the void, there was a star forming region. I was in the clouds. I stopped at the edge of where the stars were forming, and it felt like a nursery, and like I wasn't supposed to go in there and disturb that. So I watched it for a while. It was beautiful to just see the stars forming. I said, so this is where stars are born.
This is one of the most powerful indicators that something is happening when we die.
How you guys doing? Welcome back to Sanitation Hunter on 58th Street and 6th Ave.
Sandy the Squirrel's meth lab blew up.
I found an Airbnb with the most bizarre house rules I have ever seen. Someone is renting out this seemingly normal house for $187 a night. But when I looked at the guest rules, I found something disturbing. Rule 1, clean up after yourself. Rule 2, no smoking. Here's where it gets weird. Rule 3, lock the bedroom door at night. And Rule 4, never look out the windows after dark. Maybe there's a creepy neighbor, or maybe it's something much more sinister. There are no reviews, so there's no way to know. Would you stay here?
Mañana puedes andar tranquilo por la calle porque esta gente te asalta y lo peor es que andan en grupo.
People, when they interact, don't realize it, but some are being psychic and some are not. It's a human trait. It's a human condition. Psychic functioning is normal with human beings. The difficulty comes out of the fact that it's an ancient capability. It's a survival mechanism that has existed since the beginning of human. At the very beginning, we didn't have a language of detail where we could interact together.
Where did we become this inefficient?
Yeah, where did we steer off of that?
Because with that, there's no need for language.
Right, there's no need for language. And why? Because we lived in very small family units. The biggest tribe of people was probably 10 people, all birthed out of the same families. So we were all intimately related to one another, fighting for survival. We could actually read one another's minds, the very thoughts that others were thinking in our group.
You guys figured out a new kind of propulsion that doesn't use fuel. Is that correct?
That is correct.
That's correct. How much force have you guys been able to create to date?
To date, about 50 millinewtons.
And what is that in English?
50 millinewtons is about enough to lift two of these pieces of paper. Just 2 pieces of paper. About 50 millinewtons.
On Earth's gravity.
Well, yeah. The test is in a vacuum chamber.
The idea is if you guys are in space, that's a decent amount.
Well, the idea is that you put 1,000 of those together, and you have a 5 Newton thruster. And you put a 5 Newton thruster behind anything, and you can be at Mars in 3.5 days.
What? With 1,000 of what you've been able to create?
Maybe 10,000. I don't know. I haven't gotten that big yet. But yes, we can produce 0.38 G continuous acceleration from Earth orbit to anywhere on the Mars surface in 3.5 days.
It's like driving a really old broken car from the 60s. It doesn't work very well. You floor it, it moves. But if you keep it floored and you never run out of gas, you're going to be the fastest car on the planet in a few hours.
Oh, yeah. And you never have to go to the gas station.
The numbers are staggering. Most people don't even believe them. And you think, how is a little blob of foam going to ever do any of the things that this guy is saying is going to happen?
Right.
But if we had a spacecraft, and let's say it weighed 45 tons, metric tons, and 30 of those metric tons were propulsion system, and you're in Earth orbit, 3.5 days later, you're on the surface of Mars. 3.5 days. Because during those 3.5 days, you continuously accelerated at 0.38 Gs.
Oh, yeah, that would suck.
Ours has continuous acceleration. You continuously accelerate to the halfway point, you flip around 180 degrees, and you decelerate from there. At the midpoint, we're doing about 1 million miles an hour.
My neighbor has been there all day. I think I'm going to try to go outside and say hello to her, but I'm going to leave my phone here just in case.
An 8.2 magnitude earthquake just hit the Philippines, and the footage that's coming out looks like it comes straight from a movie. Mind you, this is one of the most populated countries in Asia. From the way it looks, this earthquake tore that place apart. You had buildings crumbling. You had the earth shaking like it was water. You could see people scared for their lives. You can see power lines snapping. You can see houses caving in. They're clocking this at 8.2 magnitude, but they're saying that it could have been greater than 9. And if you look right here, you see what that says? That can totally destroy communities. Matter of fact, look at this shit. Look at this building. Look at this big ass building. That building is crumbling. Nah. Have you ever seen some shit like this? Yeah, okay. Have you ever seen some shit like this? They're saying that this earthquake was so strong to now they're warning surrounding countries that there may be a tsunami. You have Taiwan, Indonesia, and other surrounding countries that are being warned right now because of the magnitude of this earthquake. And listen to this. Due to the fact that we're in the Pacific, we all know that tsunamis travel. That means that if there are tsunamis, it may reach U.S. territory. Look how scared these people are. This is crazy right here. This is Mother Nature right here. This is something we can't do anything about.
We back in simulation. Flip this up. Hey, Gary, can you cut the main lights on? All right, bet. This is it.
What you are looking at is security footage from a local pub in a town in Maine. Now everybody's having a good time drinking. Pay attention to the guy in the white shirt. Because this footage right here left the cops totally confused about what happened. Look at that. Now this is not a glitch in the camera system. Look how everyone's reacting when this happens. Now one of the confusing things is why did everybody stare at the same time right before this happened? Witnesses do not remember staring. All they remember was this guy disappearing. Look at that. Now, possibly all at one time, everybody got possessed by something strange. Or maybe this is the rapture.
He knew the bill was coming.
So you're telling us that Whitney Houston faked her passing. So who is Whitney Houston?
You could be anything, but who would imagine a king? Whitney Houston has been playing as Gayle King, Oprah's best friend. Just rip the mask off. The gematria lines up. So Gayle and Whitney both equal 85 in the same exact cipher. She was staying in suite 434. If you put 4, if you spell it out, spell out 434 in gematria, it equals 85, just like the name. Whitney's passing age, which is 48, and you add up Gayle's age at the time of Whitney's passing, so that's 48 and 57, that equals up to 105, right? What they said Whitney passed from was coronary artery disease. Coronary artery disease equals 105 in gematria. And suite 434 equals 105 in gematria, in the same exact cipher. So both of their ages added up together equal 105, and what they say she died from equals 105, and the suite that she was staying in equals 105. Remember I was singing the song earlier, Who Would Imagine a King by Whitney Houston? Now why would she make a song like that? Who would imagine that you could be anything? She should have said you could be a queen. You know, you're talking about women. But the whole purpose of her saying that is revealing what other character she was playing. So who would imagine a king equals 103. But you know what they say she died from? Whitney Houston? Accidental drowning. And that equals 103 in the same exact cycle. Speaking of 103, from Gayle King's birthday to Whitney Houston's birthday is a total of 103 months. Gayle King's birthday is December 28th. So this would be December 28th, 2011. From Gayle King's birthday to when Whitney Houston passed, which was February 11th, 2022, that is a total of 46 days. Gayle King in gematria equals 46. Not to mention the word sacrifice equals 46, but that's another thing to go in there. Psychological operation equals 111, and the suite that she was staying in, suite 434, equals 111 as well in the same exact cycle. So what does that mean? What am I trying to tell y'all? What I'm trying to tell y'all is the suite that they said that Whitney Houston drowned in was a psychological operation. It's not real. It didn't happen. But this is why they're saying suite 434. Psychological operation. At least you know where she is now.
Don't like the dolls?
Sino más bien como una casa cuna o un jardín de infantes donde están innovando una forma de educación.
We are rather like children in a kindergarten where we're still learning.
Y según ellos, no todas las civilizaciones vienen con buenas intenciones.
And according to them, not all extraterrestrial visitors come here with good intentions.
Pero aquellos que no vienen con buenas intenciones tienen mucha dificultad de ingresar en nuestro mundo.
But those who don't come with good intentions have considerable difficulty in entering into our world.
Algunas naves extraterrestres que se han estrellado en nuestro mundo habrían sido derribadas por quienes forman una especie de cuarentena de protección.
Certain of the ships that have been sent by those people have in fact been broken up by the protective fields around the earth.
No por nada las escrituras sagradas de muchas religiones hablan de que hay una gran violencia en los cielos.
Also in many of the sacred writings of many civilizations on our earth, there's a lot of evidence of wars in space.
Ellos nos dicen de que hace 25.000 años de los nuestros, un grupo de extraterrestres fueron deportados aquí a la Tierra.
And they also say that some 26,000 years ago, a group of extraterrestrials were deported to this planet.
O sea, después de que se produjo una guerra civil en Orión.
As a result of a sort of civil war in space.
No, fue precisamente en la constelación de Orión donde se produjo eso.
And this occurred in the constellation of Orion.
Involucró a muchas civilizaciones.
And it involved many civilizations.
Pero solamente unos fueron castigados y enviados aquí a la Tierra.
But only one group was punished and sent here onto the earth.
Obligados a tener que ayudarnos a nosotros aunque ellos no quisieran.
And they were obliged to try and help us even though they didn't want to.
Al principio lo hicieron, pero después, en vez de ayudarnos, nos perjudicaron.
Although they started to help at the beginning, later they lost that desire and continued to act in a negative way.
Acostumbrados a vivir miles de años fuera de la Tierra, aquí envejecieron rápidamente y murieron.
And of course, because they were accustomed to life outside the Earth, they rapidly aged on the Earth and died.
Ellos no han podido reencarnar aquí en nuestro mundo porque el nivel vibratorio de los seres humanos es bajo para ellos.
And they cannot reincarnate in our world because the vibratory level is too low for them.
Entonces, ellos desde una cuarta dimensión le han declarado una guerra psíquica a la humanidad.
They are, in a sense, in a fourth dimension from which they have declared a form of psychic war on humanity.
What stage of capitalism is this? And do you have to pay to use the emergency button too?
She came out and disclosed that there's $21 trillion missing in the government. And she said that there is essentially a black budget, which is off the books, to where they built underground civilizations, not only on land, but in the water and around the circumference of America. Now they have massive, massive civilizations, but I do find it funny too that a lot of billionaires are spending billions of dollars for bunkers themselves. Zuckerberg, Bezos, you name it. They all have it. And that's what we know of. So imagine what we don't know, what's off the books, right? There was a former Bush official that worked in the housing department. She came out and disclosed that
that's a lot of money
that we paid for. That's taxpayers' money, by the way. So
you think what we see on land, you think it's that detailed below?
I think it's even more because they have the time and energy and less of a footprint. Because when you're seeing construction all around, you have to stop traffic. Got to stop traffic, and people have to still live their lives.
Right.
Underground, nobody's under there.
So you can work all day,
build whatever you want, do whatever you want, and then they already have these types of systems that's across America with the trucking system too. You have truckers showing footage where they drive into a mountain. It opens up and it just goes for miles and miles and miles.
And that's just for the trucking industry. So what they don't show you, which they do have a black budget to where they fund many things that's off the books. They have probably a utopia down there when it comes to technology, you name it, that's for them.
You talking about the shit that we would never see, that we can only imagine what is down there.
Only imagine.
What if they got their own sun down there?
I don't buy into a lot of the explanations that are out there about how reincarnation works. It's pretty scientific to me. I think we choose our next life now. And if you are aware in choosing now, all of the process in between, everything is something that you've kind of laid out. It would just be a more graceful transition. But when you leave here, if all you have ever did was immerse yourself in belief, and that's it, no real understanding of your autonomy or your agency in this experience, then you probably just be reincarnated. And that's fine. If you still long for things when you leave here, you want to come back. If you've reconciled all of that, then you can choose differently. But if your spirit is so stuck in this experience, other parts of you are going to return back to this experience.
The Zen Buddhist notion is you will repeat it.
Yeah.
Until you escape it.
It's a loop, but there is no other loop I'd rather be in than this.
Well, you notice in Hollywood, right? The people that are doing good are not a threat. So like Kevin is 5 feet tall. He's not a threat. No matter how much he work out, they're not going to make him, they're not even going to let him be Ant-Man. He's never going to play a superhero. He's not intimidating. He doesn't mind being the butt and getting kicked around. You know, you saw the roast. Like a real black man ain't having that. You know, even like Tyler Perry, it's a dude that dresses up like a woman. There's no threat there, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, tell me someone that Hollywood is empowered that could potentially be a threat.
The Rock?
How is The Rock a threat?
You just saying physically. You talked
I
about
didn't
what's
say
the name?
physically. I mean,
Denzel
someone that
Washington.
can't be controlled.
Denzel Washington.
What is no disrespect to Denzel, but tell me something revolutionary Denzel's done that's helped and pushed black people's agenda forward. Name one thing.
I don't know his history like that.
But you should, though. He's that big of a star that anything he would do to help us. Michael Jordan, what has he done? Name one thing besides make a sneaker that white people make money off of. Like, no disrespect to him, but he has never been radical. Tell me something.
He's not radical, but he's inspired a lot of kids.
That's not what I asked you, though.
LeBron James.
Controlled.
He's built schools.
I didn't say that. I said that. See, you're deflecting. The question I'm asking is, name a threatening person that's pushed our agenda that they've empowered. Name one.
So when you say threatening person, you mean someone like a Farrakhan?
Physically means nothing. Physical is not what's...
That's what I'm saying. Physically...
I think you know what I mean. You're a smart guy.
Mm-hmm.
So
could you clear it up for me that I'm not that smart?
No. If you're in special ed, stay there. I'm not wasting my time. But my point is you're a smart guy. You know what I mean? So I asked the question. All the people that have been powered by them would fight. Like building schools is cool, and I get all that. But that comes with it. Like, you do realize that a charity is a write-off to someone that's making a certain amount of money. Do you understand that?
Absolutely.
So all of that shit is a write-off, regardless. So you never know the agenda or the intent. It's a write-off for a trust. You realize that, but you never dealt. You still here?
I'm here.
Okay, it's
I'm
a write-off.
listening.
I get it, but are you understanding?
Yeah.
So it's always, any charity is a write-off, so you don't know no one's agenda when they do that. So don't bring it up again. So what I'm saying is something that has been threatening to them, stopping them from controlling us, like maybe passing a law or like, making sure that
the recidivism rate for jails is going down, making sure reading scores are up, really dealing with the agendas that hold us down. Who said it? Name somebody that Hollywood or the music business has empowered that's done any of those things, or have they been controlled? Why would the devil empower someone that they couldn't control?
Yeah, I see you looking at me. Why are you so scared? You had the balls to approach me when I wasn't looking.
He's either making cheese or his car runs on milk.
What the fuck is that? I'm genuinely confused. Where'd it go? There it is. What the heck is that? This is the craziest thing I've ever seen in my life. What the heck? I'm telling you, I'm not. What in the heck kind of bug is this?
Or there's this one. Sweden, 1926. A woman named Knut Anna Jonsdotter, born in 1839, tells an interviewer about a girl left alone to watch the cattle in the summer pasture, which is like a mini farm set up so people could stay there for the entire summer. It's not even daylight yet when the girl hears this huge ruckus of cowbells and mooing and yelling. And she looks out the cabin window, and coming through the pasture is a huge herd of black cattle being driven by a bunch of trolls. When her relatives finally come back, they find her almost out of her mind, totally freaked out. Or take this one. A man rides past a hill late at night, and suddenly there's a building there that's never been there before. He goes in and finds a warm, real, bustling household. And then he says the name of Jesus. Everything vanishes, and he finds himself sitting on a rotten tree stump on the hillside. Those aren't fairy tales, and that distinction matters here. The Swedish folklore authorities separate the fairy tale from what they call a sägen, a folk legend. A fairy tale doesn't claim to be true and everybody in the room knows it. A legend gets told like it happened. It gets pinned to a real place, sometimes to named real people. This happened to her over by that mountain, which is a lot closer to a modern encounter report than Once Upon a Time, which leads to one of the ideas in all of Scandinavian folklore that, if you watch this channel enough, should sound pretty familiar. There's a word bergtugning, which means literally being taken into the mountain. A person disappears out of the ordinary human world because something took them. Trolls, or maybe the underground people. And the endings vary. Sometimes they come back. Sometimes they come back, but not quite right.
Oh, your skin is hanging off your bones.
Is that leather? Sometimes they've been gone way longer than they thought. And sometimes they never come back at all. Can you say missing 411? The Swedish sources connect these traditions directly to trolls and the hidden folk, and they note that the stories worked for the people telling them as an explanation for the disappearances. Line those up next to fairy abductions, changelings, missing time, hidden communities, people who walk into the woods and are just gone. The shapes rhyme. Different traditions keep reaching for the same handful of motifs. They're not describing the same literal thing, but a farming village in Sweden and 100 other traditions all built the same story. Which brings us back to those boulders. Why is there an enormous rock sitting all by itself in a field next to a church? Modern geology has an answer. Glaciers dragged rocks around and dropped them when they melted. Fine. Boring. Probably true. But folklore has a better one. Something threw it. Because in the later tradition, trolls and giant beings called Utuls are forever trying to destroy churches by chucking gigantic rocks at them. The bells drive the troll crazy, so it winds up and hurls a boulder at the steeple. The stone misses, lands out in the field, and it sits there for the next 1,000 years as physical evidence that the story is true.
And that's a wrap on this episode. Foo. I hope you enjoyed it. If so, don't forget to hit and smash the like button for me, smash the subscribe button, be part of the family. Remember, stay woke, and I'll catch you next time.